Jeannie Yerman, our correspondent in New York, she'll be back in the next half hour. The ripple effects of the WorldCom fiasco certainly hurt Mosaic Group's second quarter results. The marketing company came in with a wider than expected loss of $0.05 per share. And joining us now here in the studio with more on the numbers is MarcByron. He is the company's vice chair and CEO. Good afternoon, and thanks for coming in today.
Good to see you, Jim.
Take us through the numbers. How much did WorldCom hurt you?
It hurt us in a number of ways. If I could just take a step back and answer that question. We started out this year with a very definitive game plan. First was to restructure and reorganize what was 27 individual units to 4 organized divisions, right-size the organization, and get proper management in place. We did that throughout the first quarter. A little bit into the second quarter, made great progress, right according to our go-forward plan, our published document in January. Second quarter, we began to focus on new business generation and build a pipeline which is now more robust and larger than any time in the company's history. Interestingly, as all of that great work has been done, we were a victim to 2 collapses, one being Enron and one being WorldCom, which both firms we were doing material business with in the early part of the year, which impacted our second quarter results. WorldCom, we were acquiring wireless customers for them, as we are known as the largest acquirer of wireless customers in North America, as we have been for some time. That relationship ended in May. We're glad to announce yesterday and again today on our call that we've replaced the WorldCom loss with a new relationship with Singular, second largest carrier in the United States, a deal valued at approximately 150 million Canadian or larger, depending on how we can ramp that business. So although WorldCom definitely impacted our quarter and definitely slowed us down a little bit in terms of our general go-forward plan, we've put that behind us. We took the balance of a write-off, which was from uncollected funds of $2.3 million, which impacted that 5-cent loss. Otherwise, we would have been right in line with our earlier stated lowered guidance in June of 140 to 148, and on our earnings, which we said were going to be 2 cents, and the difference really is after all the other write-offs, is the WorldCom write-off.
Okay. Now, on the WorldCom, I understand we're getting reports in that the impact, the loss is billions greater than expected, and we'll have more on that coming in. But what do you make of that and the whole credibility issue with companies right now?
Well, I make a lot of it. I make that it's very sad that senior executives do those type of activities. Just from a business career perspective, I and my team have always prided ourselves on unabashed integrity, and that's how we operate our business. And, you know, when you do business and you sign contracts with Fortune 20, 50, 100 firms, like the WorldComs and the Enrons of the world, with whom we've had material relationships, you don't expect them to go south as fast as both of those did, and it's really a shame.
Mm-hmm. Does it shake your confidence that perhaps we haven't seen the worst of it?
No, not really. I think for the most part, companies, both large and small, are run with integrity. I'm certainly hoping so. And I think as pressure is put on CEOs all across North America and in Europe, it's our job to stand behind what we put out to the shareholders so that they can have faith in the numbers that we all publish.
Your restructuring plan, you call it the go-forward plan. Give us an update on that. Where does it stand now?
It's going exactly according to plan. We had a very complex restructuring to do. We had 27 different businesses inside Mosaic. We've now reorganized them into 4 strategic divisions. Those 4 strategic divisions are now led by people who really understand these businesses and understand how to drive P&Ls. It took us the better part of the first quarter to get our restructuring, right-sizing, downsizing, if you will, and then retraining and reorientation. We've spent the last quarter, the second quarter, really building a robust and very significant business pipeline. And as I said at my annual meeting, the balance of this year is really what I call a show-me story. Can the folks at Mosaic take a company, reorganize it, restructure it, and then get in front of very large brands who have huge demand for what we do and get them to buy what we do? I'm very confident that as the year unfolds and as we move into 2003, our go-forward plan will unfold just as we said it would.
How significant will the cutting of costs be in terms of job losses?
The job losses are behind us.
They're all done?
All done. It was an unfortunate part of what we had to do, but we did not have the revenue base to support the employee size that we had. We took the necessary steps. We were as compassionate as possible, which I always like to be in those kinds of endeavors, and it's time to move on and look towards the future, not look back.
Let's look at your stock. It's been hitting a 52-week low right now. Do you believe the worst is behind it?
I absolutely believe the worst is behind us. Beyond that, you know, really, if you look at our chart, earlier in the year when I became CEO, it was in the mid-2s range. We had started off, and I think the community, the investment and shareholder community, really got behind what we were doing. and saw the progress we were making as an organization, and the company's stock performed reasonably well in the first half of the year, I think ticking up to the mid-4s. Unfortunately, we got hit with the Enron and the WorldCom situation, 1-2 clubbed over the head, and as a relatively small organization as we view ourselves, in which those contracts were significantly material to our year, they have definitely set us back, but not from the overall global approach to our go-forward plan, really from a timing perspective on when we backfill those like we now have with a much bigger singular deal and our other businesses which we believe are forthcoming shortly.
Now, what about guidance? You're basically withdrawing guidance, are you not?
Yes, I have withdrawn guidance as of yesterday, at least in the short term, as we complete the transformation of Mosaic from what used to be a provider of cost-plus business services to more of what we call a performance-driven, pay-for-performance type of operation. And until we get a couple more deals up and running, the wideness, if you will, of projected guidance would be so extreme. I just thought it would be more appropriate, and it would have more integrity to it if I said, when I know for sure exactly what I can peg them at, I'll come back and I'll tell you.
The deal with Singular Wireless, how significant is that for your company?
It's extremely significant. It was a necessary deal that we got done in very difficult circumstances in the telecom industry in the States in near record time. And it is one of the most material contracts the company has ever signed in its history. And the beauty of it is it once again shows that Mosaic, who used to do wireless acquisition for AT&T, then moved to WorldCom, now to wireless, our skills, our capabilities, and our services are in very big demand, and more importantly, they are transferable across brands. And what I think you're going to see, as Jim, as the balance of the year unfolds, is this unique skill set that we've put under the umbrella called Mosaic. We begin to apply that more and more across the UK, Canada, and the US.
Finally, when do you expect to return to profitability?
I think as we move towards the second half of this year, you're going to see a much better second half than a first half. And as I clearly stated in January, all the truth be told, I didn't know the sledding would be quite this tough. I believe that 2002, as I said, was a full transition year, and I'm really confident that 2003 is going to be a year of renewed growth and momentum at Mosaic.
Okay, I'm sure we'll have you back to talk about it. Thank you
Looking
very
forward
much.
to come back. Thanks,
Okay,
Jim.
Thanks. Marc Byron, Vice Chairman and CEO of Mosaic Group. Stay with us for eBuzz.